Bucknutters, welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Wednesday, August 5th, 2015. I am Dave Biddle, and I am joined by Duane Long. First of all, Duane, I can't believe it's already August 5th, but at least football season is almost here. That's the good news when summer flies by like this. Gavin Cupp, young man that took a gamble, and the gamble paid off. Came down to Ohio State secretively for Friday Night Lights, hoping that no one would find out. I don't know how he thought no one would find out with all the reporters there and everything, but Michigan State got wind of it. He was, of course, committed to Michigan State at the time. They pulled the offer, and he didn't have a scholarship offer to Ohio State at the time, so he was taking a big risk, but he got the scholarship offer from Ohio State. He, of course, committed, which, I thought he might commit on the spot. Took him a couple days, but your thoughts on the whole Gavin Cupp situation, Duane?
Well, you got to give the guy something for guts and for going for it. Is this, Michigan State's a fine school. Right now, I would call it the second best program in the conference. Wisconsin fans might argue with me about that, but that's still some big time football there. But he wanted to be a Buckeye. He came down here last summer. Buckeye coaching staff liked him, and I did too. A very athletic, big kid. He moves very well. Good basketball player. And they liked him, but his level of competition is as bad as it gets in this state, and he just wasn't ready. What's he do? He comes home, gets another football season under his belt, obviously works very hard, comes back again to camp, and earns himself an offer. The kid moves really well. I don't know if he's the length of a kid you want to play tackle. You want a guy that's long. Out there on the edges on the football field on the outside, you got to have a guy that's got some length. He's got tackle feet, and that's one thing that is essential as far as I'm concerned. In a guard prospect, I'm not much on recruiting guards, but this kid moves like a tackle. He's just not built like a tackle. So I think it's a nice get. I liked him from the first time I saw him on film, and I'm just it excites me that a kid has just said, I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm going all in, and I want to be a Buckeye. And he did it, and he's got his offer, and Michigan State had pulled out on him anyway, so he might as well have. I wonder what he waited on, but it was what he wanted, and he got it. I love that out of him.
And Duane, he's listed at 6'5", 280 pounds. Now we never know with listed height and weight, especially for high school kids. A lot of times it's exaggerated. Now, obviously, he's not 6'7" like you would like out of a tackle, as you mentioned. You think he has more of a guard's body, but moves like a tackle. We've seen guys that are 6'5" play tackle before and do it well. Is there a chance he could play tackle, or do you think he will definitely be a guard?
I think he could play tackle. It's not like he's got Jacoby Bourne arms. He's not that short-armed. And a lot of it has Jacoby's got some short arms. The kid's a great center, but he's not going to play tackle for us. Yeah, the reach matters. Being able to get your hands out there when you're blocking, pass blocking, he who reaches first wins. That's what, if the end is longer and gets his hands on a tackle first, he's got a better chance of beating that tackle. If the tackle is longer and touches the end first, he's the one that's probably going to win more of the matchups. You want a long guy out there, and he's not a short-arm guy, but he's not a really long-arm guy. We have seen 6'5" guys. We've seen 6'4" guys as tackles, but they're usually guys that are really they have extraordinarily long arms for their height when they're under 6'5" or under. But yeah, he could, because he moves very well. There's some film, I don't know if it's even out there anymore, of him on the basketball floor. He moves really well, and that's what I think they love. And also, he trucks people. If he slides down to guard, I think he's better suited. If we see him at tackle, I think he's going to be at right tackle, not left tackle. But I would odds are he's going to be a guard. But I think if you can get a kid that can play tackle, you play him at tackle. So he moves well enough. Put him out there and see how he does. If he's got that extra little thing about him, that anticipation, that technique that can overcome a couple of inches in arm length, and let him play tackle, because any time you can get a big that can play tackle, you let him.
Yeah, good point on arm length, too. I know Chase Ferris is going to be the starting right tackle this year for the Buckeyes. He's quote-unquote only 6'5", but he's got long arms, as you mentioned. I mean, Gavin Cupp plays basketball. I know Chase Ferris was a good basketball player. He's got very long arms. So, yeah, if you're 6'7" with short arms, that doesn't help you very much. If you're 6'5" with long arms, you can get the job done.
That's your guy. That's your guy. the guy with the reach. Its wingspan is everything out there.
So the Buckeyes picked one up, and they lost one. Of course, Terrell Hall, everybody knows by now, has decommitted, young man out of Washington, D.C., defensive end. Now, there's a lot of drama associated with this, Duane. Cut through the BS, as you are so good at doing. What is the real story with Terrell Hall? What do you think the listeners need to know?
I think we need. I was at first encouraging people, don't get crazy, don't start saying nasty things about the kid on the site, and we still shouldn't be. But it's gotten to the point now where I'm believing that this kid played some games, that he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing, and all along he had he was wondering about where he was going to school, and he was talking the talk. But as soon as Nick Bosa came on board, I just find the timing. I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in timelines. And the timeline says he sees he's not going to play in front of Nick Bosa. Well, I disagree with him because I really think Nick Bosa could slide down to a three-technique tackle. He's built more like a tackle. And he could be a bigger, stronger, faster, maybe I'm not going to say stronger, that's a little crazy, a bigger, faster version, a more athletic version of John Simon. He's just a phenomenal talent. Maybe he stays it in, but we got a lot of ends right now. We could really use some help at tackle, and he's a 265-pound kid. But getting back to Hall, he just seemed to be, I just can't take my eyes off the timeline, that you're saying you're 100% Buckeye, nothing's going on. Even when he was going to Maryland and saying, it was just a team thing and all that, he was saying he was 100% Buckeye, don't worry about it. Nick Bosa commits, and a couple of weeks later, he decommits, and we know he's been down to Alabama without permission. So I think that's what's going on. Like I said, I don't see any reason to badmouth the kid. It's his decision. Let him go where he wants to. If he doesn't want to, fans are always saying, anytime a kid chooses somewhere else, well, he didn't want to compete. Well, I usually disagree with him. This time, I think I question that. I don't think he was ready to come up here and run into the bus all called Nick Bosa. So, go on about your business. Wish you luck until we run into you in some bowl game, and I want to see Gavin Cup pancake you a few times.
Now, Terrell Hall says the door is not closed on him becoming an Ohio State commitment again. I tend to think that the door has closed. Is the door still cracked there, Duane? Is there a chance Terrell Hall could be a Buckeye, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I think we're moving on, Dave. Right now, look at how hot we're pursuing defensive backs. And there are some really elite kids out there, really elite kids, especially in 2017, like Paris Ford, like the Wade kid from Pennsylvania. Those are really nice defensive backs. And Hamlin this year. And, there are some kids that we'd like to bring in here. I'd love to increase the talent level and the depth at safety in particular. Through the Tressel years, Tressel always could get good cornerbacks in here. Urban Meyer's doing the same thing. I'd like to increase the depth and quality of our safeties, and right now we got a bunch of them looking at us. We could go that direction. Next year's wide receiver class makes this one look like nothing, and this one's not bad. And we got so many elite kids in that class looking at us. Maybe we open up an extra slot for a receiver. But really, what we need to do right now, the one thing where Ohio State is not stocked is defensive tackle. If we could let's forget about trying to get an elite guy. Just let's try to get a Robert Landers, a guy that can come in and play good, solid football for you. Whether he's going to be a star or not, he's going to be able to get the job done. Maybe we need to pull in our antenna, maybe even look around the state a little bit and see if there's anybody here that we like. Last year, that's what happened. We got Landers and Hamilton from here in state when we didn't get anybody nationally. Maybe now pull it down a little bit and see if we can get another guy in here. We've got to get some tackles. That's the biggest priority. So we may not have room for Terrell Hall. We've got a lot of defensive ends if we leave them at defensive end. But when you're using all those bodies to fill two spots, which strong side defensive end and the three technique tackle, they are what's better to move down than back, so 3 technique tackles can play strong side end, but strong side ends are a real good fit at defensive tackle. Not ideal, usually not as big, but more athletic, usually longer guys. That causes problems for guards. But you don't want to. We got them for end. Let's keep that talent there. Keep that rotation at end and bring some more tackles into some bigger guys. It'd be great to land 2 or 3 really outstanding tackles and let Hall go on to Alabama.
All right, last topic on the show. Let's talk about the perception of the Big Ten. I did a piece for the site yesterday about this. I had a chance to talk to Taylor Decker at Big Ten Media Days last Thursday, and if we're talking to him, and I agree with this, there's just a completely different vibe walking around talking to different Big Ten people. Last year and previous years, it was almost like they were in defense mode, trying to defend the league and defend the honor of the league. 1 year later, it's like they have all this swag. They are just walking around with all kinds of swagger, and that's what happens when Ohio State wins the national championship. I mean, Michigan State knocked off Baylor. Wisconsin upset Auburn. A couple other Big Ten teams won bowl games. Now you have Jim Harbaugh joining the league. Whatever you think about him, that raises the stature of the league nationally. The thing is, though, Duane, it was just 1 year, and I want to say the Big Ten is back. They need to prove it, obviously, more than just 1 year. I think they're going to, though. I feel like the Big Ten, if it's not already back, it's pretty damn close to being back. Just your take on the perception of the Big Ten and how things have changed in the span of just 1 year.
Well, you have to look at the most talked about games of the year at the end of football season were games that the Big Ten played in. We were supposed to get run out of there, and what happens? We whip everybody. I was so tired of listening to Baylor's coach. He acted like, come on, man. Let's stop. At some point, you got to stop crying. There's no crying in college football either. Come on. And he was crying. And Michigan State, who we smacked them around a bit. I don't like. Sparty's pretty cool with me. I don't like bad-mouthing Sparty. And Michigan State goes in and whips him. Well, you wanted to play Ohio State, Alabama, TCU. Well, you couldn't whip Michigan State. Shut up and sit down. I loved it. That was my second favorite game. I actually taped that so I could watch it again, to watch him pacing the sideline, getting whipped by Michigan State. Act like he belonged in the 4. Well, guess what? You didn't. Shut up. And then Wisconsin goes in and knocks off a really outstanding SEC team. We were the focus of college football. And let's not forget Penn State, who also ran in the league, and Rutgers, who was basically ignored, went in and won bowl games too. So I don't know. How can you say that the Big Ten was not the best conference at the end of the year? Winning those kind of games is what makes you the best. And the Big Ten won them. So shut up. Maybe this year it'll be SEC. But we know last year it was the Big Ten. So people need to look at us in a different way. And especially we're going into the season ranked number 1. We can't be beat. We have to lose. Nobody's going to beat Ohio State. Too much talent. This was the year we were focused on, Dave. We thought this was our year, that this team, last year we were going to be a little bit too young, a little too raw. We won the national championship. Now here we are back this year with, look how the offensive line has come together. We were talking about the line. I said that I just hope we see an offensive line as good as the one with Norwell and Mewhort and those guys. Well, guess what? This line may have been as good, and by the end of this year, I bet you they're going to be better. We're going to be a better football team this year. We win back-to-back national championships. Other teams come in and show in the bowl games again. We're going to have national media saying, is the Big Ten the best conference now? Well, yeah, and I think Michigan's going to be better. I think they're going to be better with Harbaugh. I think they can return to the form of the past. Got to recruit a little better. His recruiting has been about as wacko as he is, but it's still it's still getting better. And he's picking players that he seems to like. So let's see what happens. I like where we're at. I'm very excited about what the Big Ten's doing. And right now we got bragging rights, and everybody needs to shut the hell up.
Great insights as always out of the president of the Art Briles fan club, Duane Long. And thanks to everybody for tuning into the show. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a great day. Take it away, best damn band in the land.